Hello, all. Welcome to another Calibrations. Uh, Today, we're going to be discussing a often forgotten, but very influential, very important speech. Probably one of the most rousing of speeches which ever been here. It's from the same time period as the American Revolution. This is Patrick Henry's "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death" speech. He recited this at St. John's Episcopal Church in Richmond, Virginia, uh, March 23rd, 1775, which, for those of you curious, it was 250 years ago. So obviously there's some historic timeliness to it. Uh, and it's a good thing to revisit every once in a while. Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna read the speech as reconstructed by William Wirt, who is Patrick Henry's first biographer. Published his biography of Henry in 1817, a few years after Henry had died. Uh, and this reconstruction is based off of recollections from some of the people who were there at the Second Virginia Convention on that day in 1775. So it's a little bit of a lengthy speech, and I don't usually go into nonfiction, but for some of these really important ones, I'm okay with straying off a little bit. Uh, you know, like I say, it's this channel's about the classics of literature, and literature I've always thought can certainly include uh, rhetoric, speeches, and things like that. And so I'm not opposed to doing this. So, Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. No man thinks more highly than I do of the patriotism as well as abilities of every worthy gentleman who has just addressed the House. But different men often see the same subject in different lights, and therefore I hope it will not be thought disrespectful to those gentlemen if, entertaining as I do opinions of every character opposite of theirs, I shall speak forth my sentiments freely and without reserve. This is no time for ceremony. The questing before the House is one of awful moment to this country. For my own part, I consider it as nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery, and in proportion to the magnitude of the subject, ought to be freedom of the debate. It is only this way that we can hope to arrive at truth and fulfill the great responsibility which we hold to God and our country. Should I keep back my opinions at such a time, the fear of giving offense, I should consider myself as guilty of treason towards my country and an act of disloyalty towards the majesty of heaven, which I revere above all earthly kings. Mr. President, he's referring to the President of the Virginia Convention, it is natural to man to indulge in illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against the painful truth and listen to the song of the siren till she transforms us into beasts. Is this the part of wise men engaged in a great and arduous struggle for liberty? Are we disposed of the number of those who, having eyes not see not, and having ears hear not, the things which so nearly concern their temporal salvation? For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and to provide it. I shall have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging the future but by the past, and by judging the past, I wish to know that there has been in the conduct of the British ministry for the last 10 years to justify these hopes, which with which gentlemen have been pleased to solace themselves in the House. Is it that insidious smile which our petition has lately received, Trust it not, sir. It will prove a snare to your feet. Suffer not yourselves to be betrayed with a kiss. Ask yourselves how this gracious reception of our petition comports with those warlike preparations which cover our waters and darken our land. Are fleets and armies necessary to a work of love and reconciliation? Have we shown ourselves so unwilling to be reconciled that force must be called in to win back our love? Let us not deceive ourselves, sir. These are the implements of war and subjugation, the last arguments to which kings resort. I ask, gentlemen, sir, what means this martial array, if its purpose be not to force us into submission? Can gentlemen assign any other possible motive for it? Has Great Britain any enemy in this corner of the world to call all for all the accumulation of navies and armies? No, sir, she has none. They are meant for us. They can be meant for no other. They are sent over to bind and rivet upon us those chains which the British ministry have been so long forging. And what have we to oppose them? Shall we try argument? Sir, we've been trying that for the last 10 years. Have we anything new to offer this upon the subject? Nothing. We have held the subject up in every light in which is capable, and it has all been in vain. Shall we resort to any entreaty and humble supplication? What terms shall we find which have not already been exhausted? Let us not, I beseech you, sir, deceive ourselves. Sir, we have done everything that could be done to avert the storm which is now coming on. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated ourselves before the throne, have implored its interposition to arrest the tyrannical hands of the ministry and parliament. Our petitions have been slighted. Our remonstrances have produced additional violence and insult. Our supplications have been disregarded. We have been spurned with contempt from the foot of the throne. In vain, after all these things, may we indulge the fond hope of peace and reconciliation. There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, if we mean to preserve inviolate those estimable privileges for which we have been so long contending, if we mean not basely to abandon the noble struggle in which we have so long engaged, in which we have pledged ourselves never to abandon until the glorious object of our contest shall be obtained, we must fight. I repeat it, sir, we must fight. An appeal to arms and of the God of hosts is all that is left of us. Tell us, sir, that we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be strong? Will it be next week or next year? Will it be when we are totally disarmed and when the British Guard shall be stationed in every house? Shall we gather its strength by irresolution and inaction? Shall we acquire the means of effectual resistance by lying blindly on our backs and hugging the elusive phantom of hope, till our enemies shall have bound us hand and foot? Sir, we are not weak if we make proper use of those means which the God of nature hath placed in our power. Millions of people, armed in the holy cause of liberty, and in such a country as that which we possess, are invincible by any force which our enemy can send against us. Besides, sir, we shall not fight our battles alone. There is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations, and who will rise up friends and to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not the strong alone. It is the vigilant, the active, the brave. Besides, sir, we have no election. If we are base enough to desire it, it is now too late to retire from the contest. There is no retreat but in submission and slavery. Our chains are forged. Their clanking may be heard in the plains of Boston. The war is inevitable, and let it come. I repeat, sir, let it come. It is vain, sir, to extenuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war has actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Certainly was a powerful speech by Patrick Henry. Uh, I guess reading it, you see that there are strains of this battle that will always go on. 250 years later, we're still fighting for liberty and peace and the right for self-determination. And I think that Patrick Henry had a lot to teach us, and like I said, this is well worth revisiting, especially 250 years later. If you'd like to learn more about Patrick Henry, there's a book, which particularly Patrick Henry's later life. This book is about for the people, for the country, for the people. Patrick Henry's last political battle. It's about the loyal opposition Patrick Henry took in the last years of his life, fighting against a constitutional authority that he did not agree with, but maintained a decorum and fought within the confines of the said constitutional system that he didn't disagree with. Again, it's the idea of a loyal opposition. That book is by John Ragosta. It was quite a good book, came out a couple of years ago. And then probably one of the most common biographies of Patrick Henry is A Son of Thunder by Henry Mayer. Patrick Henry and the American Republic. This one is a lot of people read this book. I have it on my shelf over there for some time. I definitely check out both those books. I'll read up on Patrick Henry. Like I say, he is often a forgotten founding father, but a very, very important one. And in times like these where we have our liberty threatened by a would-be king, it's a powerful statement, and makes those of us interested in preserving our individual liberty eager to continue the fight. So thanks again for stopping by Alliterations. Next month we'll be discussing F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, which celebrates its 100th anniversary since publication, April 10th. So look out for that video. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing this channel and exploring these great pieces of literature, specifically the classics. So, thanks again. Take care. Please like and subscribe.